It's a lot easier to trust somebody when you're buying stuff face to face. You're right there. You can talk to them. You can figure out whether you trust this person or not. But when you start shopping online, that's where some questions start to pop up because you're basically sending your money out into the ether and hoping that somehow, some way, what you ordered comes back to you. And as such, the trust relationship here is a really big thing online, which is why when we put those links down below that we talk about all the time, we try to make sure that these are companies that we've dealt with, that we have experience with, that we've got multiple feedback from a bunch of different people, and that we can put our stamp of approval on it. Case in point, one of the ones we've been talking about lately, even though it's a smaller company, one of the big name ones is LightMe. It's the earbuds that I've been using, all the time here. A little quick shameless promotion for them here. I love them because they don't actually go in your ear, which I hate. I can't stand that. But that said, enough about that. What we're talking about here is a company called ToolNut.com. Unfortunately, I did not have as positive a series of interactions as I have with LightMe here. So the point is this. About 30 days, they contacted me and said, hey, we want you to start using our affiliate program and sending business over to us. To which I responded with, hey, I think it's great you guys are a small business, family-owned small business, and we support that. But when it comes to shopping online, there's a lot of issues out there. You guys don't have the kind of name recognition or track record that companies like Amazon or Walmart or whatever, and any of the other larger online tool retailers have. It's basically, you're not as established. I mean, they've been around for 30 years. Okay, locally as a single store. But online, I was like, I'm not quite there yet. Tell you what, let's try building a relationship. We do our deals of the week every Monday. Maybe you want to work with us on that. To which I heard back nothing. Apparently, the only thing they wanted to hear was, sure, we'd be grateful to work with you. And that is until this last week. Now, I got an email today. This is not the first interaction, but this is kind of what sparked the whole video. I got this email from YouTube today. It says, hi, Den Tools. Due to a copyright removal request that we've received, your video will be taken down from YouTube in 7 days. Is Makita's new Mac track system too little too late? Basically, they're saying that the custom thumbnail I used is the artwork owned by ToolNut, submitted by Shane at toolnut.com. So here's what I would say, and what they're talking about is, they're talking about this video I did here. Now, to be fair, this is not the original thumbnail that was on it. I did, in fact, accidentally use some of their artwork. It was funny, when the Mac track system came out, when it got announced, I was sitting working at my computer and going through stuff and answering emails and stuff, and I get a message from one of the viewers going, hey, have you heard about the Mac track system from Makita? And I'm like, you mean they're like Festool-like integration box system? They're like, no, it's a totally new one. You got to check it out. And in that time where I read that, I got no less than 12 other emails from Makita PR, from other online retailers, from just a slew of stuff. And it was all the same material showing all the stuff that Makita had just released and all Makita's artwork. And one of those apparently was from ToolNut, and I accidentally used their artwork rather than using Makita's artwork. Now, to be fair, their artwork was Makita's artwork. They'd just taken the images and moved them around in a different position. Anyway, I get an email back from, I posted that video on Wednesday. Wednesday night, I get an email from ToolNut saying, essentially, now I would show the email, but they've already shown that they're willing to do takedown notices, so we're not going to do that this time. I'll just tell you what it said. And that is, they said, hey, great video there. But we noticed that you used our artwork, and we would like, since you linked, and I linked to Acme, since you linked to Acme and not us, we would appreciate it if you took it down. I'll be honest, felt a little petty considering the fact that it was really just Makita's artwork that they had rearranged, and you could argue about whether that actually made legitimate copyright. Fine. I took it down immediately as soon as I got the email. But the second part is what kind of got under my skin was when they go, wish we could have worked with you, but it looks like you have some allegiances to other companies. And to that made the whole tone of the email a little bitter, kind of like like a jilted schoolgirl kind of thing. Like, why would you add that in, saying that I've got allegiances when I told you specifically the reason that I had misgivings and didn't say I wouldn't work with you. I said, hey, I'm not willing to do this, but we can try working like this. Apparently that constitutes allegiances. Apparently looking out for my viewers, looking out for buyers is allegiances. And that to me struck a real kind of sour chord. Is somebody who's supposed to be a professional, somebody who's doing outreach for the company. First of all, they're being petty, talking about an image that really they don't have a strong claim on. And yes, I totally admit I screwed up. I did, and I changed it. No problem. I changed it, but I did reply going, hey, this is not the most professional email. It comes off as a little petty and vindictive. In fact, it gives some strong kind of emo schoolgirl, jilted kind of vibes and whatnot. And, basically, you're accusing me of having an association with these other companies just because I told you that you didn't quite reach the mark that we felt was necessary. To which they proceeded to respond and harass me. Finally, me telling them, like, look, don't contact me again. To which they responded again. And to which I'll be honest, he said something like, so I shouldn't, call you up for drinks next time in Vegas. And, I do go to Vegas very often. I live in Montana, but to which I responded like, dude, I get it. All this, you got rejected and then you got upset and then you started harassing me and now you want me to buy me drinks. It's like, dude, I'm just not into you like that. Stop contacting me. Apparently he didn't like that and issued a takedown notice after I'd already taken down the video or taken down the thumbnail, the accusing thumbnail. In fact, if we look back on this, you can see this was dated 10 hours ago, whereas my video came out on Wednesday. So he knew that it was already taken down. We'd had a whole series of exchanges. That wasn't enough for him. But if we go to YouTube right now, because I clicked on YouTube's link for the offending thing, and if YouTube looks at it, it goes, not affected. No copyright content was found in your video. So the fact is, it's not copyrighted. He knew I had changed it, and he filed it after the fact. So this is just the company, and I'm going to say the company because I had also emailed the president and I think it was vice president of operations or something. Anyway, I emailed, two of the higher ups at the company, CC'd them on this, going, hey, this is what's going on. And I haven't heard back from them. I haven't heard back, about any of that. So apparently they're totally cool with this, filing a fake takedown notice after I'd already complied. That is truly some vindictive behavior there. Now, I thought, let's dive in. Let's see what ToolNut really is like. Well, I looked at several reviews, and if we talk about something called a fish hook when it comes to reviews. You can have all the 5 stars in the world, and usually it's like a good review will go 5 stars, and then half of that will be 4, then half of that will be 3, then half will be 2, and half will be 1. There's almost always going to be negative reviews. In fact, if there's no negative reviews, I kind of start scratching my head going, are you perfect? Is that what you're trying to claim? Because nobody is. So anyway, I look at it, and sure enough, we see probably the biggest fish hook I've seen yet, where the 1 stars outweigh and the 5 stars. I tried some other places. We looked at Yelp, because a lot of Yelp is locals. Let's see what the locals think about it. Again, wow, just brutal fish hook on that one. That'll take you out. Just to show, this is the ToolNut over there. This is the same one we're talking about. Anyway, so I looked around. Beware of ToolNut on Reddit. We got the Festool. Apparently, ToolNut's known for having access to Festool stuff. Apparently, everyone over in the Festool group's like, just avoid ToolNut. They're a serious problem. But let's talk about the company itself. All right. So as I said, they're a single brick and mortar location. This is them, 247 Mahopek. I don't know how to pronounce it. Over Yorktown Heights, New York. That's it. It's like in a neighborhood or something. Anyway, as far as the company itself, they say it's family run. So if we look at it here, 16 employees, founded in 1994. So that's 30 years this year. And Shane was the guy we were dealing with. And I guess David and Bobby were the guys that I emailed as well. So let's look at Bobby. He's the president of ToolNut. This is the guy who actually, I believe, is the owner of the company. He goes back the full 30 years with the company. If we look at his profile, we can see here, Bobby Ackerman, president of ToolNut, 1994 to present, 30 years, 10 months. Before that, he was the district manager for, okay, he sold carpets, apparently, for Giant Carpet. Before that, he was a tool truck salesman, Mac Tools owner from 88 to 91, 3 years doing that. And before that, he worked for Crazy Eddie. Crazy Eddie. Wow. If you guys don't know, he was like the guy who started the whole I can't believe these prices are so low. They must be crazy. Crazy Eddie. He was the guy who started that whole trend. Kind of famous. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, that whole company got shut down by the feds for embezzlement. So, embezzlement, working for a company. I'm not saying he embezzled. Worked for a company, shut down for embezzlement. Before that, he worked for Radio Shack. Can't blame him for that one. Then he went from the company shut down for embezzlement to selling tools on a tool truck to a carpet salesman to selling tools locally. Now, apparently, they must have done okay. They had they've grown. I mean, they haven't branched out. There's only one location in all of that. But what the vibe I'm getting from the whole thing is that this is a company that is trying to chase the online dollar, if you would. That basically they saw other people have that and they're like, hey, we should do that too. And they've been fairly successful, not as successful as others, but what I'm getting is basically somebody who's trying to present that they're more than they really are. Case in point, one of the biggest, if not the single biggest issue that people talk about when they're dealing with them is that they'll order something, they won't get any confirmation, they'll finally give up and go and buy it somewhere else, and then suddenly they'll get confirmation that it's shipping, and there'll be this whole and then the excuse is always, there was a problem with the computer. I can't tell you how many times I looked up, and the excuse from the company was, there was an issue with the computer. I get the feeling that the computer is a person with a pencil and a piece of paper. Because if you look at it, like when I look at something like Acme, and you can see they have, not only they have like 14 locations, they're huge, and they've got warehouses and corporate and everything else. And any of these other ones, they have big established ones. This is, and I don't want to be hating on them as a small company, but you got to look at their limitations, because their warehouse, if we look at this, it doesn't seem like there's an area for a warehouse. It feels like it's really just a drop shipment company, that they don't really keep a lot of stuff in stock there, and that basically when they get an order, they're going out trying to source the best deal they can to then fulfill that order, which is not what, I mean, heck, Amazon doesn't even allow drop shippers anymore. That's kind of an old kind of way of doing business that most people don't care for, because you don't really have the product when you sell it. I may be wrong, but that's what it looks like from arm's length kind of distance here. And clearly this is a company, from the other comments that I've seen, is that when they're caught doing something wrong, they circle the wagons and they basically deny. Case in point, this is a guy that, hey, he got a little snippy with me. I called him on it, and instead of letting it go, they decided to be vindictive, try to order a takedown on something after the fact, which just blows my mind. If you want to shop with him, it's your money. I'm not your dad. Do what you want. But there's a lot of other options out there, and personally, you won't be seeing me link to them anymore. You won't be seeing us talking. Even in the video where I did accidentally use their piece of their artwork for the thumbnail, I did give them a little shout out in the video. I didn't have to. I just felt kind of bad for them. See if maybe I could throw a little bit of business their way. Again, we won't be doing that anymore, because it just feels like this is a company that if they do you wrong, they're not going to be the kind of people that stand up and say, like, you know what? We screwed up. Let us fix it. I think what you're going to hear from them are excuses, and blaming the computer. By the way, Steve, today you're the computer. anyway. That's all I got for you today. Sorry it's not a more upbeat kind of video. I will say this, if there is one good takeaway from this, it is the non-earbud earbuds from Lightme. I love them. As I said, the size and shape on them. For those of you who don't like traditional earbuds because they get in your ear and they just bother you, these things are fantastic. They haven't let me down yet. Anyway, I'll put a link for them down below. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.